everyone. It's Monday, November 9th. I'm Karen Connolly from the Board of Selectmen, and I'm here today to help do the COVID-19 update and other goings-on around town. I'm here with Jim Boudreau, our town administrator, Mike Long from the school committee, and Superintendent Burkhead. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Kathy Gardner and the entire staff of the town clerk's office. They did a wonderful job last week during the election, and prior to the election. It's a lot of work for them. They did it beautifully, and I didn't hear that there were any problems or anything like that. So thank you to Kathy, and especially thank you to all of the poll workers who showed up to make sure that our polls were staffed. Many thanks to all. Veterans Day is this Wednesday, November 11th. There will be a video, I believe, that Seth and a couple of other people, Don Knapp, Steve Litchfield, are producing, because obviously with COVID-19, we really can't have gatherings, so it will be more or less of a virtual event. Having said that, I'd like to tell people that on November 13th, which is Friday, Scituate Community Christmas, along with the Scituate Food Pantry and the Veterans Council, are offering a Salute to Service Day from 11 to 12 at the Food Pantry. If you've never been to the Food Pantry, it's in the Masonic Hall on Country Way, and they're going to be offering all Scituate veterans, of which there are almost 1,000 in town, handcrafted cards, a small gift, and a box of fun things at the food pantry. So if you're a veteran, please get out and get some the goodies that they're giving to you in honor of your service to our country. And if you know of a veteran, everyone should have received an invitation to this event. If you did not receive it, please call the Veterans Office at 545-8715. And if you know of someone who's a veteran who did not receive the invitation, please let them know. On that note, special town meeting is next Monday at 7 p.m. at the high school gym. I know people are concerned about COVID, but every precaution is being taken to make sure that people are safe. There are not a lot of big items on the special town meeting, but there are items that need to be taken care of, especially some of the items related to the budget and related to capital projects that were not addressed at the last town meeting in April. For those who are interested, the moderator will be having a meeting, as he or she usually does. The moderator meeting prior to town meeting is this Thursday at 3:30 p.m. and it will be done via Zoom. So if you're interested in attending or watching, or if you have questions, you can go to the agenda that is posted on the town calendar, and the Zoom number is there for you to click on. And I think we're all getting used to using Zoom now, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem, we hope. And finally, I'd like to say that Scituate Community Christmas and the Food Pantry need donations. This is a special time of year when they have a lot of needs and a lot of people who depend on them to help them out. I would say that especially this year, monetary donations would be greatly appreciated. With that said, I'll turn it over to Jim.
Thank you, Karen. I just want to update one thing on the town meeting. We've received a lot of questions as to why we don't do a virtual town meeting or a remote town meeting. We are not allowed to. Only towns that have a representative town meeting can do a virtual town meeting. All other town meetings must be in person. We are open town meetings, so therefore we are precluded from having a remote town meeting. I know that's been a lot of questions that people have, so just to make it clear, we're not allowed under the statute to have a remote town meeting. Tough week this week, actually tough day. Since last Tuesday, we've had 15 new COVID cases in Scituate. We had 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Friday, and 12 reported on Saturday. 4 of those cases are from a household with a previous positive, so someone tested positive in the household, and the remaining household members caught it. Then there were 2 cases that shared an address and 2 other cases that shared an address, and then 4 that were just individual houses by themselves. We would expect now that they would be spread in those houses. That's a big number no matter how we slice it. We need to do better. There is a new COVID map that has been issued by the state that takes into account a community's population and the number of tests that a community takes in terms of determining the risk factor for community. It uses population rather than just previous model of per 100,000. Scituate falls in the 10,000 to 50,000 population range. In this category, color codes will be determined by a combination of actual number of cases, cases per 100,000 population, and the positivity rate of the community. Right now, the colors are still gray, green, yellow, and red, and as of Friday, Scituate was still in the green, which is less than 10 total cases per 100,000, but more than 10 cases individual. That will continue to evolve over time. With our Saturday, I would expect that number to change, or that color to change for this week, but we will keep monitoring that. As of this past Friday, all residents must wear masks at all times when out in public, regardless of whether or not there's anyone around you. There's subject to a fine of up to $300. I was down the harbor both Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. If I was giving out $300 tickets for everybody not wearing a mask, the town would no longer have any budget problems for a long time, because there was a lot of non-compliance. We're doing education, we're not doing fines, but please, the rule is now if you're outside in public, you must wear a mask at all time. There was a stay-at-home advisory in place between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. Restaurants must stop in-person service by 9:30. Takeout service is still allowed after 9:30. And all liquor stores and retail establishments that sell liquor must cease alcohol sales by 9:30. Finally, if you're having an indoor gathering, you're limited to 10 people, down from 25, and an outdoor gathering at your house is limited to 25. So we ask people to continue to do the best they can. That Saturday number is alarming. Social distance, wear your mask, wash your hands. If you're sick, stay home, and get tested. Getting tested is very easy right now. We have a testing protocol in place for town employees and school employees. It's going very well. But getting tested is not that difficult right now. So if you think at any time that you have symptoms, you should go get yourself tested. The reservoir is up to 39%, up from 33% last week. We got about a half-inch of rain, so the reservoir is filling up slowly. The treatment plant use was up to 550,000 gallons per day from 485 the previous week. We think people just watering their lawns, getting in that last set of watering in the nice weather, but we ask you to stop that. We will continue to issue violations. The water department is doing their flushing program depending upon the weather and the water situation. As you see, the water level has gone up, so we will continue to do our flushing as best we can. And also, the water department is conducting seasonal shutoffs. These will be no contact shutoffs like we did for the turn-ons in the spring. Residents should go to the water department page on the town website, fill out the form and return it, and we'll schedule you for your turn-offs. Something that came in just this morning, FEMA has announced that during the week of November 9th, in support of non-regulatory coastal erosion and sea level rise studies, a company called Compass will be in the field in Scituate. The reconnaissance effort will be completed on foot by teams of 2 to 4 people. They'll be using handheld GPS devices and digital cameras to document the findings in the field reconnaissance of sea rise and sea level rise. That'll be going on for at least a week. They all will have badges and identification. The police have been notified, and they will be following all COVID protocols. Most of the other stuff, Karen, you hit on for me, so I think at this point I will wrap up.
Okay. Mike?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So just 2 quick things. Despite Governor Baker's declaration, we are still extremely committed to having our students and our staff in school when possible and healthy and safe. I do want to thank our staff and our custodial workers for doing a great job of keeping our schools clean, and just ask that families and students continue to stay vigilant to make sure that they social distance where possible and wear masks so that we can continue to have school in person and not fully remote. There's also been a lot of feedback received to the school committee from a number of people in town regarding the DEI position that we're looking to fill. I do want to thank everyone who has reached out and provided their feedback and their suggestions, because that does make a huge difference as we go through and look to fill that position. And with that, I'll turn it over to Superintendent Burkett.
Thank you, Mr. Long. I just wanted to reiterate what Town Administrator Boudreau had stated about the new guidelines and guidance specifically for schools. We follow those same protocols. It is important to note that the Scituate Public Schools Medical Advisory Team has been following a similar model in addition to looking at surrounding towns and our school positive rates for several months now. So we've been ahead of the curve on that. The guidance further states that districts and schools are expected to prioritize in-person learning across all color-coded categories unless there is a suspected in-school transmission. and that districts and schools designated gray, green, or yellow are expected to have students learning fully in person if feasible. I think the important part there is if feasible. Our leadership team, our Safe and Strong Advisory Committee, and our medical advisory team will be reviewing this new guidance that came out Friday carefully, and will continue to make decisions based on the safety of our students and staff. Last week, we had one staff member, one student test positive for virus in the district. Also last week, the members of the Scituate Public Schools met with the Mass Association School Building Authority on Friday to discuss our statement of interest, our application for the potential of a new elementary school replacing Cushing and Hatherley. The MSBA indicated that they are a few months behind in this process, and that the next steps would be to possibly come out and reassess both schools and the need for the potential new school. And finally, our sailor shutouts are a way of sharing enthusiasm that we believe is contagious. I would like to give a shout out to the Scituate Education Foundation. I took part this weekend in their Seaside Stories on Saturday evening. It was very entertaining and inspirational to me to hear the stories, real true stories, and I want to thank everyone that participated and for those storytellers. And finally, to all our veterans, we honor you for your services to our great country. You are our heroes, past and present. Thank you, and happy Veterans Day on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the beautiful weather, and if no one has anything else to add, I will say goodbye to everyone for today.